is off. Hopefully I didn't screw it up. I think I did. I have no connection on TikTok, but we're going to leave it on. It says no connection. It says lost connection. Lost connection. Trying to switch between Wi-Fi. Let's see if it comes back. I may have to reboot this, but of course. Good morning, everybody. It seems like we're working sort of. Yeah. No. Totally says we're not connected. Please let me know if you see anything on TikTok, because right now it's kind of showing that we have nothing going on. 17 people. Can you see me? Nothing. Okay. We have a mess up. We're going to crash the app on purpose. We're going to go back in. Don't know what happened here. Oops. Resume live. Does that work? Resume. Hey, maybe this is going to work now. Hopefully it did. Okay. Hopefully we have corrected the problem. Start. There we go. Hopefully this is okay. We're having day 2 of technical difficulties. We're live. We're live on TikTok. We're live on Instagram. We're live everywhere else. Angela Topping just jumped in with a hello. Okay, we got to invert, and I think we're in business. Holy moly! Do things look different? Do things look different because they feel different? I can do this now. That's kind of neat. Yeah, that was exciting. So we've got some new toys in the office. Very excited about that. Apparently we need to turn some audio on because that may not have been working. Let me know if the audio kicks in because apparently you need to turn on the amplifiers to make that work. Oh yeah, nothing like having a few hiccups in the morning. We weren't in the office recording as we normally are to make sure everything's working perfectly. Instead, we were off and testing out, and now it's frozen. What's frozen? I don't see frozen. Q says it's frozen. Can you see me? Can everyone see me? I hope we can see me. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I go live on TikTok and Instagram and a whole bunch of other platforms. And I don't know where Q is telling me it's frozen, but hopefully it's no longer frozen. We're on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I have to add an icon onto...
There's no sound.
There's no sound where?
Frozen.
Where?
TikTok.
On TikTok, there's no sound and it's frozen. Okay, it says good connection. It should be. Oh, maybe this is this one. Let me know if we have sound now. 162 people in the room with no sound. That is not okay. How about now?
Sound.
What's that? Still no sound? It's probably a 10-second blip.
Okay,
We have
there
sound
we
now?
go.
Okay. Let me know if it's too hot. Well, we can always adjust it. We've got lots of new dials, lots of new switches, lots of stuff going on here. So hopefully we can get it all worked out. We got a new mixing board. We got a Zoom PodTrack P8. So we're changing slightly. They don't hear you. They should hear you. If I hit this button, everybody hears you, I think.
Hello.
Are you hearing yourself? That was a button that we pressed before. So we're going to see. We have new buttons to press. Yes, it is exciting times. We are trying to figure things out as we get new toys, and we've changed our setup just a little bit, and we're good to go. So, Q heard herself. I hear myself. I'm monitoring my own audio. Anyway. Enough said. If you need me to be louder, let me know. I got a switch for that. Anyway, let's get into things. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I talk about traffic, police, and other fun stuff on all the platforms. And if you've got questions, don't hesitate to ask them because that's what we're here for. We are sitting here and we're going to go through the Q&A section. At least I'm going to be on the Q&A section. If you hit the Q&A on TikTok or if you add a comment in any of the social media platforms that are getting us, I'm going to see it. If you just put it in the general chat on TikTok or Instagram, I'm not going to see it because we get too busy in here and I can't spend time there. But I spend time everywhere else. Okay, Emma said no sound here, but that was an old message. Can we talk about flow of traffic? I'm so glad you brought that up. Is that chapeau? I don't know if I pronounced chapeau because that's not the chapeau that the spelling I'm used to seeing. So anyway, the deal with flow of traffic, I love it. I've been wanting to talk about it recently because a lot of people keep using flow of traffic to discuss justification for exceeding the speed limit. Flow of traffic says that you should travel with the flow of traffic. Ooh, can you hear that bottle opening? Oh yeah, that's a carbonated water that I didn't want to have, but it's the closest thing to being in my reach.
Are you doing that in purpose?
Am I doing that on person?
On purpose.
Yeah, I'm opening it because I'm thirsty. So So the deal with flow of traffic is it's intended that for safety, you as a principle that you should go with the flow of traffic. Now that does not suggest that you should exceed the speed limit to keep up with everybody else that are breaking the law. It's not a license to speed. You want to keep up when you're changing lanes to the flow of traffic that you're going to get into. But traveling at Mach 2 would be unsafe. And especially if you're not flying a fighter jet. But it's just not safe when you're, there's no expectation that you're going to go at 150 because everybody else is. You get on the road, you stay to the right, and you go the speed limit. That's the deal. Flow of traffic doesn't apply. First of all, there's no law that says thou shalt go flow of traffic. There's no law that will penalize you if you don't. It's a safety concept, and it is a concept alone, and it is not a license to speed. So if someone has told you that you have an obligation to speed, they're incorrect. Okay, let's go into other stuff. But I'm glad you brought it up. I've been wanting to talk about it forever. Was TPS the first service you applied to? Oddly enough, no. I applied to the York Regional Police when I was 18 and a day. Like I went there right off, and I applied, and I didn't join them. I was 18 and I was a little young to go in, but I was really interested and eager, and I applied, went through the process, and was not successful at 18. But when it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I actually applied seriously. So always something I wanted to do, and once I was an adult and wanted to join up, Toronto Police was my first choice. Really, Chief, it was. Okay. So, can you get a ticket for going below the speed limit? You can get a ticket for going below the speed limit, but not so much, not for driving 90 in a 100 zone, not for doing 55 in a 60 zone. You need to be going so slow that it's unreasonable and you're impeding traffic. So if you are doing 40 in a 100 zone, that's pretty dangerous. That's a very different situation than if you're doing 80 in 100, because 80 is not illegal. The speed limit is a limit. It's the maximum you can do, not the minimum. So people often say, well, I'm just going to, everyone's got to be doing 100, and if they're not doing 100 because I'm doing 120, they're unsafe, it's their fault. No. You're still responsible for everything you do. So if you choose to speed, it's on you when you cause a collision, not the guy going the limit or just below it, because again, maximum, not minimum. So can you get a ticket? Yes, it has to be unreasonable. It has to be determined by a police officer that's making the observations that it's unreasonable. Now, I will tell you this. If you are going slowly or slower than the flow of traffic and you are in the passing lane, that is a no-no. That might find you with a ticket on any road or any highway, any expressway. If you're going to go below the speed limit, do it out of the left lane. Stay to the right. That's it. Let's see here. They hear double of you? Interesting. So I'm going to actually, Q, I can take your on-air button off, and then they won't hear. Somebody's not going to hear you. It's probably going to be no TikTok, but maybe YouTube can hear you. So okay. Let's test that out. Who can hear Q right now?
Hello, my name is Q. This is my life story. The fox jumped over the fence today.
Excellent.
I don't hear myself either.
You can't. I got to get a new TRRS cable. Because with this device, with the Zoom, I can go a TRRS out without going. Anyway, long story short, we have some options. We're going to play with things and see how we get it to work. But we will be adding and changing things as we go to make this new equipment. TikTok can't hear you, so you're not part of the mix that we're producing, but online can hear you. So really what we just need to do is to switch to OBS, and we're going to be okay. That's going to be the ticket. Okay, good to know. Maybe there's a switch somewhere. At first she was echoing, now she's fine. So Mark Anthony on YouTube says the audio is good for all of the platforms other than TikTok and Instagram. Anyway, we're going to keep going. What is this? Can I get a ticket if I sneak out of my car's roof? Sneak out how? Like you're driving while your head is sticking out of the roof? Well, yeah, you're not wearing your seatbelt if that's the case, so certainly you can get a ticket. And rightfully so, because that's not safe. I'm just going to try and adjust my camera angle here. I don't know why I'm changing this while we're live. Why? Because, I like taking risks. Okay, here we go. That's a little better. So, yeah, if you're choosing to be anywhere other than seated in your vehicle while you are, especially as a driver, actually, it's stunt driving if you get out of the car seat to go out of your roof. If you're driving, that's stunt driving, not just a seatbelt ticket. But if a passenger is sticking their head out anywhere, that's going to be a seatbelt charge, because if you're planted in the seat, you probably can't get out the sunroof. Okay. Can you be 10 over the speed limit or 10 under. You can be 10 under, you cannot be 10 over. Legally, you cannot. But you not over. You can go legally 10 under. Okay, just want to check out here and see if there's anybody with questions on Instagram, because I don't want to ignore you. And there is a Q&A function on Instagram, and you can use it to get your questions answered. Okay, let's see here. Mike Quinn says, we sound great here. I'm glad. I'm assuming that was for Q, but I'm glad that we're sounding good today. We're still playing with new toys and getting things all worked out. And for the 350 people on TikTok right now, good morning. Hope you are doing well. Glad to have you here. If you've got questions, drop them in the Q&A. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I work at traffic safety programs at Traffic Services. We're a citywide unit. We do traffic stuff. We talk about police and traffic stuff here on social media. So if you've got questions, drop them in the Q&A, regardless of where you are. We'll work to get your questions answered. We're here for an hour. We're here till 10 o'clock. And let's keep it moving. Let's see here. Charge my girl. I see this is like part 2 of Can you be convicted of a DUI with no breathalyzer? It says here. Okay, so here's the deal. If you are stopped by police and you are suspected of impaired driving or believed to be driving under the influence, there's a couple of things here. The charge of impaired driving does not require you to have a breathalyzer or a certain amount of alcohol in your system per se. You can be impaired by drugs or alcohol, and that impairment is separate from over the legal limit. If I'm charging you for having a BAC of over or of 80 or over, that's because you took a test. The other charge is independent. Now, if you fail to provide a sample, if you refuse, then you have it's an impaired operation charge because you're refusing, and it's the same consequences as if you had failed. So it depends on, I don't know enough about what you're talking about in your particular situation. So, can you be convicted for a DUI with no breathalyzer? I don't know what your charge is specifically, so I don't want to give you a blanket answer and give you hope or suggest otherwise. I need to know more. But if you're in a situation where you were charged, you were arrested, it's probably because they have something, proof, or at least a situation where there's evidence against your girlfriend. So you may want to consult a lawyer, or she might want to consult a lawyer. How do you become a homicide detective in Ontario? So being a homicide detective means you have to work at Homicide. And to work at Homicide, you have to first be a police officer. So if you join the Toronto Police Service, as for instance, and Ontario is too wide a net for me to give you an answer about, but if you join the Toronto Police and you are, just want to check my levels here. How's the audio on Instagram doing, by the way? Let me know. Someone send me a note. Let me know if audio is working well on Instagram. Oh, audio is great, apparently. Good to hear. So if you want to become a detective, how about this? You start off as a police officer, a 4th class. You go through, you get some experience. And after you have experience, you can continue and work in specialties. So you want to work in a criminal investigation bureau. You want to work in other areas of policing, and you begin to gain experience. You get to become a 1st-class constable, a policing generalist. Maybe you have you take a couple of years working in a particular specialty, and eventually that specialty gives you an opportunity to work in the homicide squad or the homicide. Is it squad? Work for homicide. I don't know if they call it squad. In any case, if you then are successful in your test or your short-term opportunity, you might become a full-time member. So yeah, it's probably not an easy hop, but it is something you can aspire to. How many tickets can OPP give a truck driver semi? As many as they find evidence for. There's no limit as to how many you can get, as long as you're laying a reasonable charge that exists. If you violate an offense, you can get a ticket for it. If you violate 50 offenses, you can get 50 tickets. There's no limit. Each one's an offense. I can't give you 5 for the same thing. It's different. I can't give you 5 tickets for one offense. Mind you, if it's 5 separate 5 issues with your truck, you can get 5 tickets. Okay. Can I get in trouble for a cracked windshield? Sure you can. Your windshield can obstruct your driver's view, so you can get a ticket for that. Truck was impounded. I won my case, but no refund. I don't know how that would work. Winning your case doesn't necessarily mean you were right. It just means that you got out of the charge, and they're 2 separate things. So I can appreciate that you may not have. You could always try and sue for it, I imagine, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. At what age can a child sit in the front seat? So the deal is that you can be out of a car seat or booster seat or child restraint system as soon as the child is 8 years old, 80 pounds, or 4'9" in height. That's the minimum legal requirement for you to be out of that seat. It does not mean, however, that it's the safest option. And in truth, you're better off waiting. There's a 5-point check to find out, if the legs are over if their knees are at the edge of the seat, if they can put their back flat against the seat when they're not in a booster. There's a bunch of different things to make sure that they're in the safest position. In terms of the front seat, while it's legal once they're out of a car seat to be in any position other than the driver's seat, it's not necessarily the best option, and we suggest waiting until they are 14 years old before sitting in the front seat. And it's not to do with height, it's not to do with weight, it's about bone development in proximity to airbags. And truth is, crumple zones, head-on collisions, the best place, the safest place is going to be the back seat. Okay. Police breaking laws, who do we call to report? It really depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about speeding, police officers are legally permitted to speed. They're allowed to exceed the speed limit during the lawful execution of their duties. So while you may think it's something going on and being broken, really, they're not breaking the law. Additionally, if you see them using their cell phones, their walkie-talkies, their handheld communication devices, their computers, they're not breaking the law. There's an exemption under the Highway Traffic Act allowing them to do that. So again, nothing to do there. If you see someone actually doing something criminal, and you think you call the police, call 911. You can also make complaints to any division, police division, or you can contact the OIPRD. Okay. Going into here, how often is rolling stop enforced at stop sign? If I'm there, every time. It depends on the officer. If an officer is out there doing stop sign enforcement, a rolling stop is not a stop. It's not a stop. Having those two words together don't match. So if you fail to stop for a stop sign, and I'm going to, if I'm doing enforcement, I will likely give you a ticket for that, or at very least a warning. But then again, I know that people don't stop at all, so I might wait for someone to go through at speed and go for a much more exciting ticket. Rolling stop, if you made efforts to be safe and look both ways and you saw me, maybe. Each situation is different. So how often? Often, for me. But every officer is different. Can I ride an electric dirt bike on the road? A dirt bike, if you're talking about motorcycle, no, it's not permitted on the roads. If it's a motorcycle, an electric motorcycle requires license, ownership, and insurance, has to be street legal. If you're talking about an electric bicycle, that's an e-bike, it's different. But it has a lot of stipulations. It has to conform to the HTA and the e-bike legislation. People are asking about the epaulets that I'm wearing. And the epaulets I'm wearing are camouflage. They were designed in conjunction with the Canadian Armed Forces, and I'm wearing them to show my support for veterans and our military. They were produced with or by the Toronto Police Veterans Association and Military Veterans Association. And we have permission to wear them during the month of November. It was a fundraiser. We purchased them out of our own money as a fundraiser to support veterans events, I guess, in the city of Toronto. There's a word that I simply cannot remember, which would properly encapsulate what the money is being used for, but it's for veterans and programs. I think it's veterans programs in the city of Toronto. In any case, they raised over $20,000, and so that's pretty awesome. Is there a law on how loud your exhaust can be? Good question. And for mechanics, it's 74 decibels. That, according to mechanics, and Neon is one of our mechanics. He's a moderator. He's a volunteer that's helping us out, and he has told us 74 decibels is the appropriate for a car exhaust system. But I can tell you that regardless of what is legal and installed and at idle, if you go and rev your engine and you have a stock Honda Civic and you're making all sorts of noise because you're at 4,000 RPMs, at a standstill, you're redlining at 40K, you're creating unnecessary noise, and that's eligibility for a ticket right there, regardless of how loud your exhaust is, whether it's stock, whether it's aftermarket. But you do have to have a muffler, you do have to have a resonator, you do have to have catalytic converters and all that jazz. So it's deeper than simply how loud can you be. You can honk your horn unnecessarily and get the same charge for unnecessary noise. You can play your music too loudly. Are there police pursuits in Canada? Yes, there are. Is warning others about speed traps illegal? It's not moral, in my opinion. Speed traps are an opportunity for us to correct bad behavior. People who are speeding are putting other people's lives at risk, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It's a fact. You increase over the speed limit, you're increasing your likelihood of becoming involved in a collision. You're putting people's lives at risk. So, should you test or tell other people where it is? No, they should just get caught, get a ticket, and hopefully make it the last time they have a speed. That's the goal. Now, if you stop them from getting caught, what happens? They slow down temporarily, they go past us, they speed up again, and maybe they kill someone a block down the road. So is that on you if that happens? Maybe you never know about it, but it's something to think about. Maybe you save someone a ticket and you kill someone as a result of your warning them. How long does it take to get a speed camera ticket? I don't know. It comes in the mail. It's not a police program. It's a City of Toronto program, and I don't know how long that takes, but I imagine you'll find out about it as soon as it arrives. Question from Instagram. Can a passenger smoke weed while their vehicle is in operation? No. You can't consume alcohol or drugs in a motor vehicle, period. Just can't do it. Doesn't matter if it's in motion or not. What happens if you get caught by a speed camera? You get a ticket mailed to you. If you get a ticket mailed to you, it goes against the vehicle, not the registered owner. So it doesn't affect your driver's license or points or anything like that. Your insurance shouldn't be affected, but it would prevent you from renewing your license your license plate if you don't pay for it. Is reflective mirror tint illegal? If you mean tint for your windows, that is reflective, yes, it is illegal. You cannot prevent or obscure the interior of the vehicle by color tint or reflective tint. Now, rear windows, not a big deal, but for the windows directly left and right of the driver, and of course you can't have anything on the front windshield, that would be illegal to put it there. So chameleon tint falls into that as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Do you only need a police foundations diploma to become a police officer? We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have accountants, we have all sorts of educated people who come and join the police service. You don't have to have a police foundations diploma, but it's whatever education that you bring to the table. Diversifying, having different specialties really makes us a better and more diverse agency. So if you don't have to go for that, but if you do want to take police foundations, you can. Any education is good education. But it's not a requirement. You can come here. Grade 12 is the minimum requirement to apply. That being said, grade 12 is really a minimum, and it's very, very competitive. Okay. Snow tomorrow. Tint on our YouTube and all other platforms says, snow tomorrow, ? I've not checked the weather, but I'm ready for snow. I got my snow brush. Does everybody have their snow brush in their car? Snow brush should be in your car by now. You never know what's going to be happening here in Ontario, and Tint is in Montreal. Don't you always have snow in Montreal? I seem to think it's quite often, flakes falling. Let's see here. Angela says, Dory. Dory's the key word. We've got 320 people in the room, and she would very much like me to remind everyone who I am. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on TikTok and a bunch of other platforms answering your traffic and police questions. Why is that important? Well, because we can't get to see everybody the way we used to. We used to go to trade shows. We used to go to major events, barbecues in the community. We'd answer all these questions one-on-one, and that sort of changed because of a pandemic. And we want to be able to reach out and answer your questions. So I've made myself available, and my management team, the bosses, they support it. In fact, I was talking to the chief yesterday, and he was complimenting the work that we're doing. We're making ourselves available. So, we want to be able to get information to you. Q wants to know if you. I don't hear you because I don't hear you talking. Q, you're muted.
Oh, I didn't bring myself back up. I was
yeah.
I'm like, Sean, drink.
Yeah, I'm back. I hear you, but TikTok can't hear you.
That's okay. TikTok doesn't need to hear me. You can do my outro.
Okay, I'll do your outro. Let's see here. But yes, so we've changed some equipment around, and as a result, we're not hearing Q right now on Instagram or TikTok. And I know you're going to miss her, but you can see her if you go on to our other platforms. You can't see her; you can hear her, should she decide to speak. And if that is the case, you can go and visit us on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, all of those platforms. We have a different view. But this is the place we hang out. 511 people joining us on TikTok right now. Welcome. Thanks for joining. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable here in Ontario, Canada, and I answer your traffic and police questions on all sorts of platforms, but TikTok is where we spend most of our time. Now, I do have a question that comes in from, let's see here, from Instagram. And Raquel asks or says, my friend passed her G2 after doing a rolling stop. LOL. How is that even allowed? That's a really good question. I couldn't tell you. Now, maybe they didn't notice. Maybe they were satisfied because she made a really good effort and verbalized that she had looked both ways. I don't know. I didn't see the stop. It would have been bad had she been charged for failing to stop for a stop sign. But interesting. I've not heard of anyone who rolled a stop sign still passed their test. That should be an automatic fail. Can we cross a red light when an emergency vehicle is behind you? Great question. Yes and no. You are not allowed to continue through an intersection just because there's somebody behind you with police, fire, and ambulance, activating their emergency equipment. What we'd want you to do is move to the closest curb or edge of roadway. And what does that really mean? It means that if you're in stop traffic and they're right behind you and they're hitting that air horn, I don't have a button for that. I can do this. That's as close to air horn as I can do for you.
That is really loud.
Oh, that was really loud. Let me turn that down. I don't want to blow you out of the water. But new buttons. I have buttons that make noise. Anyway, if they hit the air horns and they need to get out of the way, they need to go save somebody. Move to the right. If you can't move to the right directly because there's a car there, pass them and move to the right. You can't go through an intersection that's unsafe, but you can make a right turn legally, and that's what you should do. Go forward, and it may take you out of the way that you want to go. Now, here's another thing. We won't do that intentionally. We will not be behind you and light you up unless it's absolutely an emergency. We would much rather go into oncoming traffic, which is what we would normally do, to get out of the way, to get to pass an intersection that's full of traffic. We don't want 50 cars moving out of our way. That's a mess. Let's see here. Q has a Q?
No, Nico said, apparently Q, Mr. Q.
What's going on, Nico? Nice to see you again. Let's see here. I got a question. Is leaving your trailer hitch in illegal? As long as it doesn't block your license plate, it's not illegal to have a trailer hitch ball left on your bumper. In your receiver. Bumper ones do tend to block your license plate, and unless you're actively towing a trailer where you'd have a license plate on the trailer to effectively stand in the place of the one on your bumper, take it off unless it's one that does not obstruct your license plate. Pulled over for a sobriety test without cause, ? Here's a funny thing. You don't need cause. Checking sobriety is one of those things that we can do at any time of the day, night, without just randomly. And as of 2018, there's something in Ontario, actually in Canada, called mandatory alcohol screening, MAS. So what that means is we can demand a roadside screening test of anyone randomly, or because they're the fifth person we saw, or whatever the criteria is that we set at the beginning of our shift. So if I say that everyone that I stop is going to get a roadside screening test or a sobriety test, that's what is going to happen. It's totally legitimate. It actually worked out really well. We got this in advance of COVID, because otherwise we would always rely on sense of alcohol or admission of consumption. And with mandatory alcohol screening, we no longer require that. We can simply say we're making a demand and you have to comply with it. If you refuse, you can be charged for refuse to provide a sample or comply with a sobriety test demand. At which point you would be getting charged criminally for disobeying it, and it's exactly the same punishment or consequences as being found or charged for consumption and being over. Just to address the fact, we've got a lot of chat spam right now. We have moderators who are in the chat. I don't watch the chat. You're not offending me by doing it. You're offending all the volunteers and the other viewers who are trying to get their legitimate questions answered. So please don't chat or spam the chat. Our volunteers are just that. They're volunteers. They're not members of the police service. They are simply here to help us out and help you out, because that's what this is all about. Okay. What is this? Someone moving stuff? What are you talking about, Q?
Someone was in the office and it sounded like something dropped.
There's some people moving around. We've got calendars, and there's some stuff that's being moved about. So if there's some background noise, this is a new microphone we're playing with. curious about feedback as to what you think it sounds like. I prefer my SM7B so far, but it might be a combination of things. Maybe I need to tone down some levels. Anyway, different microphone than yesterday. Trying different things. Stunt driving on a road bike okay, what's this? Stunt driving on a road bike like 40 over. Oh, like road bike like bicycle or motorcycle? What do you mean? Let me know. If you were underage vaping, would you go to jail? No, you wouldn't go to jail for vaping. Assuming you're not vaping anything that is... No, you wouldn't go to jail for vaping. I mean, obviously there could be drugs and things, you get tickets for it, but criminal charges for vaping, no. Because ultimately criminal charges lead to jail. Generally speaking, POA or Smoke Free Ontario Act stuff, no. Okay. But if your vape had anything that was a controlled substance, like an opioid, had to slow down for that. Then it would be possession of a narcotic. It's different. Okay, I got some update in the chat here. What's going on here? Oh, what are officers doing for Christmas for the children this season? It's a good question. I know there's some toy drives that are currently underway, auxiliary programs throughout the city that are doing things. I'm going to get some information. Maybe I'll have some more for you tomorrow. I'll have to look into it, but I don't know offhand, other than what I've seen. Feedback from chat, they love this. You love the sound. That's great. Well, and thank you. And compliments on my voice, I appreciate that too. Apparently, I sound okay. That's great. So I wonder if that means that we should compare the two different microphones. Maybe we'll do that one day.
That just sounds like torture cues.
Torture for Q. I can have multiple. I got I've got 6 inputs here for microphones. Oh,
We'll
okay.
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll play. We'll figure it out. Absolutely. Why car manufacturers don't block car speed on 100? So this is a conversation that I get a lot, or a suggestion or a question as to why don't we just make life simple and make cars max out at 100 or 110 or whatever? Or maybe they can auto-sense what the speed limit is. We see it all the time. GPS modules say, hey, it's 60 here, and we just make it so you can't go faster. I mean, it would certainly save a lot of problems. You wouldn't get tickets for speeding unless you modified stuff. And it's a good question, but why do they make cars that can go like ridiculous speeds? Because they can. And I think it's because in some jurisdictions they're able to go faster. So if I make one car and I sell it to Germany and they've got the Autobahn where they can go much faster, do I have to now modify the car? How do you control that? I imagine it's just complicated, but you know what? It's a good suggestion. It would frustrate a lot of people, but it's a good suggestion. Is it okay if you go 10 over the speed limit? Legally, no. You're eligible for a ticket at 1 over, technically. And if you go 10 over in a 30, you're going much faster than you should. If you are going 10 over in a 100 zone, it's negligible almost, but you're still eligible for a ticket. People say, well, no cop's going to write me a ticket for 10 over. It's not worth their time. I don't get commission. Whether I write you a ticket for 10 over or 50 over, well, 50 over is going to be Stunt, so there's a lot more paperwork, but there's a lot more risk for everyone involved. But ultimately, it's the same thing. I'm issuing a ticket. I'm changing bad behavior. And what is this? What happens if you're pulled over and you're an illegal immigrant? Here's a good question. So if you are an overstay or you're here illegally, you may or may not be on the radar. Right? You might be someone who we don't realize, or the government's not looking for you, or you're not wanted. But I've pulled people over who, upon investigation, turns out they've been living illegally for many years, and we call the Canada Border Services, and they ask us to detain that person, and they pick them up and they deport them. So that does happen. So the follow-up question was, do cops have connections to border and immigration? Yeah, we work together. We all work. It's all working together. We're all partner enforcement organizations. Okay. Can you get charged with stunt driving on a bicycle? No. Stunt driving on a bicycle is not possible because it only applies to motor vehicles. Speeding in general does not apply to bicycles. When it comes to speeding in a park, however, there are bylaws, and you can be charged for doing more. In the city of Toronto, you can get charged for doing more than, 20 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed in a Toronto park. So there you go. And Tint just wanted to follow up with the question about what are we doing for children this Christmas. And she notes that some children in, let's see here, putting up on screen, some children in this area did not even have breakfast this morning before school. You know what? You're absolutely right. And there are many programs in play. I'm not familiar with all of them. It's not that I don't care. I do care. Kids are important. I have kids. I love kids. and we want to make sure that they get the meals and they have things. And I love programs that support kids, especially kids that are in need. So if you have any ideas or if you hear of anything and we want to give some shout outs to worthy programs that need attention, throw my way. If anyone watching knows of a good program that needs attention, they need support, let us know. I'm happy to support those. That's part of what we do here, is give others a platform that to share good information. So if you have information that needs to be shared in regards to helping out the community, we're here to help out the community. Okay, let me see here. I saw something pop by. Okay, that's Q's answering stuff in chat. Here's a great question. And I'm not gonna mispronounce your name, so I'm gonna just go to your question. How do I report someone who's parking illegally in a disabled parking spot or double parking? So there is a team that works for parking enforcement that specifically goes and deals with accessible parking permits, their misuse, and so on, and for people who use their spots, making it impossible or difficult for those who require accessible parking to work. So there's two things. There's a website form that you can fill out at www.torontopolice.on.ca/core, CORE. You can report a whole bunch of different things there. One of them is immediate parking concerns. You can also call our non-emergency line at 416-808-2222. You might find yourself with a long wait there, but it is a way to get a hold of the police parking unit. You can also go to torontopolice.on.ca, go to the parking section of the website, and you could probably call if you really wanted to do that. Can the MTO pull you over in a passenger car? I believe they can. I think they have all the authorities for enforcement from that perspective. But you know what? They focus on commercial vehicles, but I believe they have the authority for HDA enforcement because that's sort of their bag. Yeah. Can you do a U-turn if there's no sign indicating? So generally speaking, yes. There are a couple of situations where you cannot, like in front of a bridge, in front of a viaduct, in front of a tunnel, in front of a railway crossing. There's a bunch of places that are completely against the rules, against the law. Other than that, if it's safe to do so, you can generally make a U-turn or three-point turn, same deal. Now, what happens if it goes bad? Well, you're taking all responsibility because it has to be completed in safety. So if you start your turn and it results in a collision or mishap, it's on you. So even if it's legal. Let's see here. I have noticed honesty helps when being pulled over. Absolutely. Listen, we're people. Police officers are people, despite some people's belief otherwise. And if you lie to us, we don't appreciate it. It's just that's what it is. If I ask you, if I pull you over and I say I pulled you over because you're using your cell phone, and they say I have no cell, I don't know what you're talking about, officer. Okay, well I just watched you for 10 minutes and you were using your cell phone as I was driving beside you, and I saw you clear as day, and you're telling me you weren't. You're lying to me. I know you're lying to me. So I'm going to lay you a ticket. Now, chances are with a cell phone, it's a pretty serious charge. I'm going to lay a ticket anyway. But you know what? It helps. Maybe you have 5 different things going on. Maybe you have a cell phone and an expired license and an expired valid tag, and your window tint is too dark, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And maybe you end up going away with one ticket. It might be the most serious ticket. It may still hurt, but if you're honest about things, you tend to get warnings more often than those who lie. Just saying. So good advice there. Okay, are the camera radars off at night? No. Radar works at night as it does day. Red light cameras work day or night. They have flashes. So do red light cameras and speed cameras all work 24/7. Okay. What do you do if someone won't answer questions? What do you mean? So if I ask you for, let's say I ask you for your driver's license, you're driving a car, then I would, and you don't want to answer me, you don't want to furnish me with the documents that I've demanded, someone in that position is going to get arrested. Because as a driver, you're required to, at very least, provide identification. You have to identify yourself to my satisfaction when I pull you over. Now, if you don't want to tell me where you were, you don't have to tell me where you were. That's part of having a conversation. It's not a requirement that you disclose that information to me. If I ask you to verify pieces of information so I can figure out who you are, you're going to need to do that. And refusal to do that is, again, an arrestable situation. If I can't verify who you are, I can arrest you. Now, if we're talking about if I ask you what your favorite color is, no, you don't have to tell me. Let's see. I just saw Mark Anthony pull up. Oh, let's see here. How does one reasonably come to the conclusion that they're going over 20 kilometers over in a city park? This is in relation to, so you should have a speedometer on your bicycle. I mean, 20 kilometers an hour is not ridiculously fast, but it's a pretty good pace. And in parks, it is prohibited. We don't have speed enforcement signs up. We don't generally have these things, but they do radar on occasion and stop cyclists. Generally, it's what is it called? Parks. Park. What is it? I can't remember what the rank is, but they're POA officers, provincial offenses officers, and there's another thing. How's it going? We're just live on TikTok and everywhere else. A friend of mine who's a police officer, we used to work together in court services. He just popped by. He's doing a course here. We host a course on a regular basis. You can come in and be on. Come on in. He's going to come in and say hello to the world. Yeah. Wow. So this is our setup. This is TikTok. Yep. That's Instagram, and you're headless on the other stuff.
Okay. So I guess. Oh, I see that. Oh, wow. This is a wonderful setup.
Yeah. So
that's great. So this is what you do now. Huh?
This is what we do. Yeah. So we're just answering questions here on the internet.
Okay.
How's your traffic knowledge? You want to answer questions?
Great. It's great. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Willing to go out and do some work.
Right on. So let's see. Maybe you answer a question here. Let's see here. Can I be a police officer with a grade 12 education and a PAL, possession acquisitions license?
Grade 12, yes, it is accepted. Higher education is,
Here, I'll put the mic back so I can hear you better.
Higher education is always, an asset, but grade 12, I guess, is the minimum. Yeah, you can become a police officer.
But it's competitive, so it is difficult. And you're better off with the higher the education. I'm going to move it a little bit back here so you can hear it. I'll twist this around so we get both of us. So the better the education, the more competitive you are. But it's not a requirement to be more than grade 12. But again, if everybody else has a master's degree and you show up with grade 12, very likely that unless you can make a really great case for yourself.
You got it.
So let's see what else we got here. With red light cameras, can you turn right on a red? You can. You have to come to a stop.
You come to a stop and then turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously indicate with your indicator that you are turning.
Signaling is important.
Signaling
Yeah.
Important, yeah. So.
Okay. This is good. You grab a chair. You should be comfortable.
Yeah. But coming to a full stop is very important, though.
Yes, full stops are definitely. Let's see here. So it says here, most cops in the USA let 10 miles per hour go 20 kilometers an hour-ish. That's an individual officer's thing. Whether they'd stop you for 10 over or they'd stop you for 20 over or what their threshold is, every officer is going to have their own magic number. There is some discretion there. No one's saying that you're going to get a speeding ticket for doing 2 kilometers over, but you have to know that you're breaking the law and that you're eligible for that ticket even if you don't get one. So you can't bank on it. You can't say, I know I'm not getting a ticket for 10 over, so I'm just going to do it, because you may find yourself really unhappy. I posted a video a couple days ago with a gentleman on the road who was stopped and charged for 20 over. It happens. 10 over, it happens. If you do 10 over in a 30 zone, you're doing a considerable amount over the speed limit. You're going to get stopped. On a highway, maybe you're not. But you know what? We don't focus. We have 2 highways in the city of Toronto that are Toronto highways. We police them. Otherwise, it's OPP. It's up to them how they play. Okay. Now it says here, here, Tinto Tosi, who's coming in from Montreal, asks, are you allowed to give tickets to city buses when they drive through red lights? Absolutely. A driver's a driver's a driver. There's no exemption for city buses. In fact, that is egregious. If a bus driver runs a red light, I would have a severe problem with it. That person's going to be not only ticketed. They have policies that deal with that. They have cameras in their machines, in their vehicles. I imagine that they're going to be reprimanded beyond that of the ticket that I'm going to issue them, and I would issue them a ticket.
Absolutely. And driving is a privilege for every driver, for every vehicle. Doesn't matter what size or what company.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no free pass at all. In fact, you talk about that. Police officers, if we don't follow procedure, we're allowed to go through intersections on a red light, but we still have to come to a stop. And I can tell you that when we hit our lights, everything's recorded. And when we if we're caught on camera doing that, if when they review things, we're usually going somewhere because it's important. We have to get there. We're trying to help someone in need, and even if we're doing the right thing, it's possible to get written up and lose 4, 8, 16 hours of pay for doing something like running a red light, running a stop sign. Even when we're doing the right thing, we're doing it for the right reasons. We still have to follow the rules. Okay. Let's see here. Is there an overrange for speed cameras? I love it. We get this question a lot. I don't have an answer for you because it's not run by the City of Toronto. Sorry, it's not run by the Toronto Police. It is run by the City of Toronto. And for its plausible deniability, I don't know, so I can't tell you. I can tell you that it's probably not 1 kilometer. It's probably less than 10 kilometers. That much I know. But the answer is don't speed. Really, they're there for a reason. They're in areas that we want to keep safe. We want all areas to be safe, but their focus area right now is in front of schools where kids are. Don't speed. Just don't speed. Do us all a favor, especially it's the holidays. We want everyone to go home in the holidays. We want Christmas and the holidays to be good for everyone. We don't want funerals. We don't want people in the hospital.
No, we don't want those.
It's everyone gets upset. Oh, you're coming out. It's a cash grab. You want our money. You're just doing this because you want to exert your power. We are not trying to power trip. We are trying to save lives. Let's see here. What about a taxi driver that drives ridiculously crazy? Well, what about it? If anyone who's driving dangerously, we're interested in changing their behavior. Oh, I'm getting some interference. Why is that coming in? I'm hearing some interference and I don't know where it is. A cell phone ringing or doing something?
Nope.
Something changed. We might have some. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you hear the static. Let me know if you do. I'd be curious to know as we test out this new equipment. Yeah, this is no fun. Is that your phone?
Nope.
This is my phone. Yeah, we're having some weird static. Oh, that's horrible. Hold on a second, guys. And it's not coming. It's got nothing to do with my microphones. I don't know. But it's really loud and bad. Hang on a second.
It's not me either.
Oh, it stopped.
It's not good.
Do you have a cell phone on you?
I do, but it's not on.
It's not on?
No.
Nobody even ringing or
Nope.
Oh, well,
Put it
I don't know.
over there.
I don't know what's going on. This is weird.
Did it stop?
We haven't had an issue. It stopped for a second, but I don't know why.
Still going on TikTok.
Oh no, I totally hear it, and I don't know why. And I wish I did. So I apologize for the noise. It's fading. It's there, but it's fading. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna roll with the punches, as I said yesterday. I apologize for the interference. We don't know why it's happening, but hopefully it'll pass. Maybe it's like a storm or something because we have had some rain.
No, it's still there.
It's there, but it's
Not
lower.
the delay. No, it's not. I can hear it.
Oh no, I
Right
hear
in
it,
my
but it's not
ear.
as loud. I was hearing it really loud a second ago. And I don't know why. It just came in. Yeah, I'm trying to look and nothing's moved. So we don't know what's happening. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. We're going to keep on going because we don't want to hold up the whole show just for some static. It's annoying. I don't know. We're going to figure out what's going on, and hopefully maybe it's a spaceship. Could it be no, we're not going to go there. Okay. Can you pull someone over for visual speeding? What is visual speeding? So visual speed, can I pace you? I can pace you. So if I drive behind you and I'm doing 60 and you're doing 60, I know you're doing 60. If you're doing 100 and you're supposed to be doing 60, I could pull you over simply saying I know you're exceeding the speed limit, but I wouldn't be able to charge you for a specific speed without either pacing you or using a laser or radar device to measure and confirm that speed. I can't just look at you and say you go fast. Let's see here. Let's get one for Femi. Why do you have camo on your uniform? Why am I wearing these epaulets? Have you seen these? Do you have these?
I've seen these, and they're pretty neat. And I just wanted you to explain why.
So I'll do the explanation. We actually have a video on TikTok of what it is. But the deal is that it's to show support of military veterans and our Canadian Armed Forces.
Absolutely.
And it was a fundraiser that was put together by the Toronto Police Veterans Association, Military Veterans Association, and it's to fund military veteran programs in the city of Toronto. It's funded by officers. I paid for these myself. I bought 2 pair because I wanted to have a spare, pristine pair. I'll, put them behind glass or something. They have my badge number on it. The chief of police authorized their wear for the month of November. I think they're awesome, and I thank anyone watching who's a member of the military, past or present. Thank you for your service.
And I just want to say thank you for fighting for us. Thank you for allowing us to live in it's because of you guys that we're living in a safe environment. You fought for this country, and I really appreciate all what you've done in time past.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing the sacrifice. I had the greatest honor of my career. I got to go away from questions for a second. The greatest honor of my career was working the Invictus Games when they came to Toronto. The Invictus Games, for those who don't know, is dealing with military veterans who either through physical injury or what's the word I'm looking for? A stress injury as a result of being deployed. They participate in sports. They compete. And I was part of the motor squad at the time, and I helped move veterans around to different events. And they were so thankful and humble and appreciative of what I did. And they came out and thanked me for my service. And someone's coming. I had one guy come. He was an American soldier. Came out. He's got one leg, one arm, and he's hugging me, thanking me for my service. And I was at a loss. I mean, this man not only he put his life at risk. He came back injured, and he's an athlete who's competing and showing that he's unbreakable. That's that whole concept of Invictus, and he's thanking me for my service. And I was both proud and gracious, and I felt very uneven, because what I do is nowhere near what he does or he did, and all of those fantastic people. So it was pretty powerful stuff. In any case, for any of our veterans, thank you. For any veterans anywhere. Anyway, moving on. I can get deep down the rabbit hole. This static is horrible. This is really, really bad. I want to figure this out as quickly as possible. Oh, I moved something. Maybe this is better. Oh, how's that, Q? Q unplugged. Okay. I moved over the mixing board.
There.
Oh, but it's so much quieter.
No, it's not.
Really?
Not on my end.
I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's the cause of it, but okay. For me, I don't hear it anymore.
I hear it still. It's not even a delay on my end. It's coming right through TikTok. We'll figure it out after.
We'll figure it out. All right. No idea why. But it's like phasing in and out. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Quick question. Can you drive someone else's car as long as it's insured, but your name isn't under the insurance policy? Is that even in the Q&A? No, it's not in the Q. It's in chat. And I see that it's been responded to, but I'll respond to it anyway. If a vehicle in Ontario is insured, it's insured, period. Now, if you live with the owner, insurance policy or insurance companies may say you have to be on the policy, and they may deny you a claim in the event of a collision where you are not on the policy, and it results in a claim. They can say, no, you're not on the policy. You broke the rules. We're not going to cover your car. But it's legal. We're not going to give you a ticket for driving an insured vehicle, and you're a licensed driver. So there's the answer. But if you're borrowing mom and dad's car, or you're using a car regularly, you might be violating the insurance policy. Okay. Okay. So that's that one. And I see there was a chat, and it was asked and answered, but I wanted to weigh in. Okay. So we talked about this. Okay, we talked about this. I'll talk about it again. At a red light and an emergency vehicle is behind me, do you go through or no? So you can't cross through an intersection. You are not permitted to, regardless of the fact that an emergency vehicle is behind you. You cannot go through that intersection legally. And if it resulted in a collision, that's bad. So we don't want you to do that. We would, however, in the event that we were asking you to get out of the way, move to the right, closest curb or edge of roadway. And if you can't, because someone's already there, drive slowly past them, make the right turn. That would be the way to go. And if you were 5 cars back, you just keep going. Don't just stop. If you make the right turn, keep going. That way the next person behind you can do the same thing. Truth be told, I would never go in. If I was in a situation behind a red light, I'd probably wait 30 seconds and then get out of the way and not create the mess that would ensue. But if I was going lights and sirens somewhere, instead of getting behind a light and trying to make everybody move, I would simply go into oncoming traffic, and that's what we're trained to do. Okay. But I guess if they were stopped at the light, you never know the situation. Can a police pull over a police? Yeah, sure we can. That would be awkward, but we can do it. And chances are, what would happen is we'd call over. We pull someone over, and we're going to tell them what's going on. Well, it depends on for what though. Police are allowed to speed. Police are allowed to exceed the limit while working. They're allowed to use their handheld communication device. What are we pulling them over for exactly? If we're pulling them over, maybe we think it's a police car that someone else has that shouldn't be that they shouldn't have. There's so many different reasons, but it's not a regular occurrence. Yeah. Have you ever pulled over another police car? I can't imagine doing that.
Must be for a real good reason.
Yeah. Well, usually we just call them on the radio.
Yeah. Find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Know they might need some help.
But if there's a concern, obviously we're going to take action.
Absolutely.
Is it illegal to have music too loud in my car?
Depending on your neighborhood.
Well, the deal is that there's a rule, there's a law that says you can't create unnecessary noise. It's not about having it in your car. You can have loud music in your car. The problem is when it spills out outside of the car. So if we're hearing it on the street, that's no longer in your car. It's out of your car, and you could be charged for unnecessary noise. And it doesn't matter if it's your loud exhaust pipe, your horn, or your music. If it's unnecessary and it's spilling out everywhere, it's a problem. You could be charged. Oh. Unplug and replug the microphone. That's a suggestion. Hang on, let's try that. It did not change a thing because I heard it even when the microphone was unplugged. But thank you very much for the suggestion. We're gonna break this all down. I got some new equipment. We threw. Q got spiked with some noise when I unplugged and replugged. I should have brought down the level on that line. My apologies, Q. Q gets tortured by noise all the time here. In a past life, you aggravated the sound gods. Okay.
My time is up.
You're out?
It was awesome.
I'm glad we come by later when we're not on the air. We'll catch up.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Sammy says take care. He says goodbye in case you didn't hear him. Let's see here. Can you go one over? Legally, you cannot exceed the speed limit legally. If you happen to go one over, there's potential of having a speedometer that is not, it's just not accurate. It's off by a little bit. No one, I can't say no one. I can't imagine someone pulling you over for one over. It's unreasonable.
Good.
What happened?
You moved the wire and it's fixed now. There's no more static.
What? Which I unplugged it entirely.
When you move the mic, it moves the wire that's there, that's plugged in. So it's good now. There's no more static on TikTok.
All right. Well, I'm glad that solved. What a horrible thing that was. And since we've gotten past, what's that?
Don't touch it again.
I'm not touching it, but why? Anyway, I don't know. There's nothing that. Yeah. Okay. For those of you who are new to our channel, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and we are here talking about traffic and police stuff and things on the internet and all. What do you mean it's back? Per Q, she's being tortured. Okay, let's see here. Is it illegal to have a muffler delete? Yes, it is. You have to have a muffler. Resonator or muffler are part of your exhaust system. Having it removed would make it improper. Having it improper is a charge under the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario. Can you drive on the highway with a G2 alone? Yes, you can. You can drive anywhere in Ontario. In fact, you can drive into the United States in any province with a G2. That's a probationary license, not a. It's different than a learner's permit where you have to be supervised. So yes, you can. Let's see here. Can I ask for proof of speeding? What if not give? You can ask all you want. We're not required to provide you proof of speeding. I could have paced you, at which point there's no way to prove it other than I paced you. You can, however, go to court, and in court you can ask for disclosure, and disclosure is the case against you. And that's where you would see our notes, and that's it. But we don't have to have a document or pictures of the machine. It's based on our evidence, the evidence we provide. Okay. All right. So suddenly it sounds nice and smooth. Are we back to no static, or is the static lingering for you, Q?
Well, when you talk, it goes off, and then when you don't talk, it's fine now. Like it sounds fine when you're talking now. Are you holding it down?
I'm not touching anything. Nothing has changed. I'm telling you, it's the aliens.
It's temperamental, just like me.
Yeah, there you go.
I said it.
And I'm laughing, and nobody on TikTok can hear you. So like, what is he laughing at?
It's
I'm having a
okay.
conversation with Q that normally you'd be able to hear, and yet you can't hear right now because I haven't figured out how to port the sound properly over to you through the rig, the Ceramonic rig that we're using. I do have some solutions. I think it's going to be a new cable that I'm going to order on the company that delivers things in one day. When you remember, they're going to be getting some business from me tonight. Why can't I tint my windshield? I can do all others. Because the highway traffic text says so. It says thou shalt not. It says you cannot obscure the interior of your vehicle from the outside. It says you can't obstruct a driver's view on the outside. And actually, part of the regulation for safety says you can't tint your windshield at all. For any vehicle 2017 or newer, it's nothing. For 2016 or older, and there you're allowed to have a tint strip, a sun strip, a brow. 3 inches or to the PS1 line, that's it. Okay. What is this? Zach Drock says, I don't have to show ID with no probable cause, question mark. You made a statement with a question mark. You want to know if you have to? If you're driving a motor vehicle, you have to identify yourself on demand. You must surrender your driver's license, ownership, and insurance upon demand. If you don't, you can be arrested. If you're not driving a car, you're walking, no, you don't have to identify yourself without reason. I can walk up to you and say, hey, can I see your ID? And you can say no, because there's no obligation to just identify yourself for no reason when you're walking about. But if you're driving a car, you absolutely do, and there is a cause and effect. You say no, and the effect is you trigger this whole thing where we can arrest you. Now, as a cyclist, you also have to identify yourself. You don't have to necessarily give us your driver's license, but you do have to satisfy and be able to identify yourself, or you could be arrested. Let's see here. Why my passenger's ID checked when pulled over? We can ask you for anything, but they don't have to identify themselves unless they're being investigated for a Highway Traffic Act offense. And that if they committed an offense, like, for instance, not wearing their seatbelt, then they would have to identify themselves. Okay. Can city police pull you over or only OPP? Any police officer in the province of Ontario can pull you over. It doesn't matter, highways, side street, they're all police. They all have the authority. So it doesn't matter if Toronto's in York region, we could technically do it. We wouldn't likely do it, but we could. Okay. I blew right through a red light and passed. Someone was asleep. They may have been making notes and didn't notice, which is really unfortunate. Maybe you should turn in your license because you shouldn't have done it. You don't deserve it. You should give it back. Maybe? What do you think? Is this where honesty is the best policy? Okay. Somehow I don't think you did what you thought you did. I can't imagine them missing that. Okay.
Are you guys hiring?
Are we hiring? We had a period of time where we weren't taking applications. I'm going to look right now here. I want to see if we're open for business. I wonder if they're currently, we're almost always hiring. But I want to see if they're currently taking applications. Uniform position, temporary closure of job postings. New job postings will be available December 1st, 2021. So there you go. At the moment, they're not taking applications, but December 1st, 2021. What is this? No, hang on. I just want to double check. View all jobs. No jobs found. So they're not taking electronic stuff. It looks like from the website that it's December 1st. If you have questions, check out that website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. And you can speak to the recruiters. You can call and get information. You can email, but there's no current job posting. Okay.
Question from Instagram. What happens if someone drives with no insurance?
I love this question. Can I what music button can I press for it? Hold on. I'm gonna do this button. It's my applause button. Thank you for asking that question. The deal is with that question is that it comes with a $5,000 to $25,000 fine. That's on the first conviction. $5,000 to $25,000. It could also have up to 6 months in jail for permitting a. It sounds like really bad static.
Why would you do it again?
Well, is it better? Or no, I don't know what the right way. Sorry, I got new buttons. I had to press it. Yeah. So, what we were just saying. No insurance. So 6 months in jail. The deal is that it's you have to have insurance. So the owner of the vehicle is required to ensure that the vehicle is insured prior to letting it on the road, whether they are driving or somebody else's. And there you go. Why can we? Oh, this is a good question. Why can we not have tasers, but we can own stun guns? Guess what? You cannot own stun guns. Stun guns are not permitted. There is a certain type of stun gun that is over a certain length. It's meant for animal control. It is not a stun gun for use against people. You cannot have stun guns. You can get into trouble. And tasers are definitely trouble because they're prohibited for use by anyone other than police. Okay. We have gone over time, but I want to get a couple more questions out. Can we become a detective without becoming a cop? There's something called a private investigator. You can do that without becoming a police officer. But a detective, a police detective, needs you to become a cop first. Okay. Oh, we got our static back, and I have no idea why.
It's gone now.
I hear it.
Oh, now it's back.
The delay. If I drive with an expired temporary sticker, you can't drive with an expired temporary sticker. Those are good for 10 days. That's it. If you're driving with any other validation sticker, you have until February 28th, presuming that you had expired after March 1st, 2020 until now, or until February 28th. Okay. Some good ones. Favorite unknown traffic law? I don't know. I have to think about that. No, I don't have time to think about it right now. I want to come back to that. I want to do a whole series on lesser known traffic laws, actually. So thank you for bringing that up. Someone didn't fully pay for an item I sold. Hopefully you didn't deliver it until we got full payment. That's a civil matter. You can take them to small claims court. That's pretty much your way. It's not theft. If you gave it to them and you had an agreement of sale and they didn't finalize or make good on it, that's a civil matter. Again, small claims court. In Toronto, 47 Shepherd is the home of small claims court, but you can go online and get information. There is a way that you have to pay and file. I don't know how much money you're talking about, but it could be expensive. It could be lengthy, and it may not be worth it, but it certainly is an avenue to explore. Vehicles without plates driving on the highway. Well, that's not legal. There is a situation where a vehicle that is being purchased by somebody outside of the province could get, and they're just buying it here and driving it elsewhere. They could get a temporary piece of paper that goes in the window. And it used to be very commonplace. We don't see it anymore very often. But there are legal ways of doing that. They're probably going to be pulled over every other block. But no plates, not legal. Okay.
Can a G1 driver drive for me if I have my full G license, but my license is suspended?
No. You have to have a valid G
You need
license
to repeat
supervise.
that for TikTok, though.
TikTok. Oh, so thank you. So used to being able to go online and have everybody hear Q, and it's just not working today because new toys. But the question was, if I'm a G1 driver and I'm being supervised by a G-class licensed driver who happens to be suspended, is it legal? And it's not. They have to be a valid G1 driver. And rightfully so. Someone who is suspended is probably doing something wrong and probably wouldn't make a very good supervisor. Equally, you cannot have an inebriated. You can't have a supervising G who is over 0.05 BAC. So if they have booze in their system that would prevent them from legally driving themselves, they cannot supervise you. You cannot be a designated driver as a G1. Let's see here. What is the charge for no front plates? Failing to display pair of plates. Or wording is different, but it's $110. Okay. And just the other thing about the whole supervising, they can't be under the influence of marijuana or alcohol. That would be illegal. Let's see here. I want to find one last one. Hey, while I'm looking for one last one, if you don't already follow us, please do. We'd love to have you as part of the fam. You know, we go live every day that I'm in the office, which is Monday to Friday. If you've got questions, this is the place to come and take care of them. And it is fun. We generally have fun. Today we have some static, but we generally have fun. Okay, what is this? Team Hollywood Racing wants to know. Please, it is a traffic question. Please, it is a traffic question. You are spamming asking me but you're not asking me the actual question. Rules on towing cars with tractor in countryside. I don't know. That is a traffic question? Okay. Can a U.S. citizen be stopped for a traffic infraction? Absolutely. U.S. citizens, while in Canada, can be stopped for traffic, criminal, anything. You're here, you have to abide by the rules. Your citizenship is not relevant. Let's see here. Can you ride snowmobiles on the road with no license? No, and not in Toronto anywhere, with or without a license. Snowmobiles are not permitted here. Okay, favorite donut, serious question. I think we should end off every show with donut questions. What is my favorite donut from Tim Hortons? There's two ways to go here. Chocolate dip is a classic. Now, Q will always say Cardam's is the way to go, but I don't know this Cardam's business. Never had a Cardam's donut. Tim Hortons, however, I like chocolate dip, but I like maple dip on some days. What's your favorite donut, Sarge?
I don't like donuts.
She doesn't like donuts. But now let's see. My preference, because I'm a bit of a donut snob, I actually like Krispy Kreme. We drove by one today, and I of the donuts, if I had to choose a donut to have, if I wanted to be naughty, it would be a raspberry-filled Krispy Kreme, my favorite. But when it comes to Timmy's, because that was your question, chocolate dip, maple dip on a rare occasion, apple fritter, is that really a donut? It doesn't have a hole in the middle, but I like apple fritters. But all of those are things I try to avoid because apparently I'm allergic. They make me fat. Anyway, on that note, thank you very much for spending time with us. We are wrapping up our hour, and actually went an hour and 13 minutes, so we spent a little extra time. It's been a blast. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to do it all again. Hopefully we get some new stuff and less static. But have a wonderful day, everybody. Look forward to posting some videos for your enjoyment shortly. We're going to be... We went this morning, and I didn't even talk about this. How did I miss not talking about it? We went out and took a ride in Ollie today. Ollie is a self-driving autonomous transit vehicle. It's 3D printed. It's really cool. You got to have a first drive in it. I'll post up some videos about that in a little while. But it has been a blast once again, and we will be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I will see you soon.
My outro.
Oh, the outro. On behalf of Q, bye TikTok. And we're off there.
Yep.
And I feel like I've been ignoring all the folks here, like Leo Wife, for instance, who might be related to me, and my kids, who I didn't really give a shout out to. So I miss all y'all. Let's see here. This looks like everyone's been talking amongst themselves, so I didn't miss much. Let's see here. Still live, still talking to you. I want to make sure that there's nothing here. Oh, you guys are having just totally, apple fritter all the way, says Leo Wife. Okay. Honey Cruller. Big Jeff Fresh says Honey Crullers is his favorite. And I never wanted anything to do with Honey Crullers. They just looked unappealing. I have a newfound respect for Honey Crullers. They're light. They're almost fluffy. I don't know. I don't like this camera angle. I don't like that I'm looking at my TikTok and you're staring at my forehead. I got to change this. Anyway, it's been a blast. We'll be back tomorrow with better camera angles, with less
better
static.
audio.
That's what I said. Less static, better audio. I don't know what's going on. I don't
Can
know.
we fix
Anyway,
it?
we're gonna the Q and I are gonna fix it so you don't have to. Everybody have a wonderful day. We will see you soon.
Bye,
Tomorrow.
everyone.
Ciao for now.